This is another sign of the times, an analysis and a commentary. Galaxies still evolving, graceful in their turnings. Spiral galaxies were thought to have reached their current state billions of years ago. A study of hundreds of galaxies, however, upsets that notion, revealing that spiral galaxies, like the Andromeda Galaxy and our own Milky Way, are continuing to change. In other words, they're still evolving. Astronomers thought disk galaxies in the nearby universe had settled into their present form by about 8 billion years ago, with little additional development since, said an astronomer at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. The trend we've observed instead shows the opposite, that galaxies were steadily changing over this time period. Astronomers used the twin 10-meter earthbound W.M. Keck Observatory in Hawaii and NASA's Hubble Space Telescope to study 544 star-forming galaxies. Farther back in time, galaxies tend to be very different, with random and disorganized motions. Near to the present, star-forming galaxies look like well-ordered disk-shaped systems. Rotation in these galaxies trumps other internal random motions. These galaxies are gradually settling into well-behaved disks, with the most massive galaxies always showing higher organization. The sampling of galaxies studied from the Deep Extragalactic Evolutionary Probe 2 Deep 2 Redshift Survey ranged between 2 billion and 8 billion light-years from Earth, with masses between 0.3% to 100% that of our own Milky Way galaxy. Researchers looked at all galaxies in this time range with emission lines bright enough to determine internal motions. Researchers focused on emission lines characteristically emitted by gas within the galaxy. The emission lines not only tell scientists about the elements that make up the galaxies, but also redshifting of emission lines contains information on the internal motions and distance. Previous studies removed galaxies that did not look like the well-ordered rotating disks now common in the universe today. By neglecting them, these studies examined only those rare galaxies in the distant universe that are well behaved and concluded that galaxies didn't change. In the past 8 billion years, mergers between galaxies, both large and small, has decreased. So has the overall rate of star formation and associated disruptions due to supernovae explosions. Both factors may play a role in the newly found trend, say scientists. The Milky Way galaxy may have gone through the same chaotic growing and changing as the galaxies in the Deep 2 sample before settling into its present state at just about the same time the Sun and Earth were forming, say team scientists. By observing the pattern, astronomers can now adjust computer simulations of galaxy evolution until they replicate the observations. Then the hunt will be on to determine the physical processes responsible for the trend. So, galaxies, like suns and planets and humans, are evolving and changing. And this too is another sign of the end of times, as we know them. Transition days, which is a time of extraordinary changes, happenings, and events, because it's about what kind of world or worlds are we leaving to the future generations, and that should be a very important question to ask. Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. 15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. 16. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars and the universe also. 17. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of humans, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. 40. There are also celestial bodies, and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. 41. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars, for one star differs from another star in glory. 42. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. 43. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. 44. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body, and there is a spiritual body. 45. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. 46. Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and afterward that which is spiritual. 47. The first human is of the earth, earthy. The second human is the Lord from heaven. 49. And as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Yes, everything is connected, and everything is numbered, and all these are more signs of the times.